Everybody stand for the pledge. Mr. Howard.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jason, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation.
Amen. And thank you. Everybody be seated. Need a roll call?
Counselor Howard,
Here.
Counselor Lorenz,
Here.
Counselor Watson,
Here.
Mayor Becker,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola has been excused for this evening.
Okay, we have modifications to the agenda.
Yes, sir, I have one modification to the agenda. Need to remove N3.
And one move to approve the
Modification to the agenda.
second. It's been moved and seconded for the modification to the agenda to remove N3, the PD report for staff report. Is there any discussion? Anita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to modify the agenda, removing N3, PD report from staff reports.
Approval of the consent agenda, minutes of regular meeting from February 15th, 2024, and approval of accounts payable.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Seconded.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda for the minutes of regular meeting from February 15th, 2024, and approval of the accounts payable. Is there any discussion? Anita?
Counselor Howard,
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we'll move to citizen comments and special presentations. Citizen comments. Council welcomes your unscheduled comments. Please limit them to 3 minutes. Council will not take action at this same meeting.
It's not correct. I'm taking them and passing them down. Yes, right. Certainly that maybe you get.
Be sure and sign that paper up there, Kathy, please, and state your name.
Kathy Lorenz. I live at 390 North Henderson here in Monte Vista. I am here tonight because of an accident that occurred on our street last night after midnight. Woke up to a woman screaming. Their car, family of 4, was in the ditch sideways on its side, driver's side down. Called 911, got out to the street. Little girl's coming up out. Dad's got her, dad's struggling, he's hurt, got issues. Little girl's sitting on the car. About then, the first PD was coming down the road, and then an infant carrier comes up out of the window. A 4-month-old baby boy was on the driver's side down in the ditch. As you can see on the map, yay, Newcomb's got more stop signs, that's awesome. Along Acequia and Newcomb, there's a stop sign at, I've marked with X's. These are stops, east-west stop signs. There's a stop sign at Jefferson. There's now a brand new one at Newcomb. There's one at Stallow. There's one at Faraday, and then there's an eastbound stop sign at Henderson. Like it or not, whether anybody appreciates it or not, Henderson and Newcomb are the bypass on the north side of Monte Vista for traffic that doesn't want to go 25 miles an hour down the highway and deal with the stoplights, deal with the pedestrians. They want to get around fast. The speed limit's 35 miles an hour. They are exceeding that. Now you've got another stop sign on Newcomb. Guess what that's probably gonna do to our speed limits on Henderson? Because they make that right-hand turn off of Newcomb onto Faraday. It's a half a mile. I measured it today. It is 0.6 miles from Newcomb to the highway, to the stop sign at the highway. There is no traffic control at all. There is not a stop sign, nothing. They hit the gas and away they go to the stop sign. We have videoed a car going 35 miles an hour, digital speed control set. Everyone else is exceeding that regularly. Now, let's say this accident happened in another month. Let's say this accident happened the 1st of May. That canal would have been full of water. That 4-year-old infant would have been strapped in his car seat, submerged in the water. And my family and the PD, EMS, firefighters would have all been dealing with a very different situation. I wouldn't have had a live kid in my house crying because he was scared, needed a bottle, didn't have his mom and dad. We would have been doing CPR on the street for an infant that had been underwater. Something needs to happen. How can we have over a half a mile with no traffic control? This is a residential street. I don't know that there's many other residential streets that go a half a mile without some sort of traffic control. Did a traffic control last fall on Newcomb? Knew there was a problem. That problem doesn't magically poof vanish at the stop sign at Henderson. It exceeds. We don't need government to do another study. We need a stop sign. That's what I have to say. I appreciate your consideration. I would really like to thank Twyla. She was the first officer on the scene last night. The compassion, the kindness that they showed, that the EMS showed, that Evan Lopez was in our house. Their kindness and their compassion is unyielding. Let's do them a little more favor by controlling some of these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Good job, Twyla.
She did awesome. Thank you.
Any other citizen comments?
Margot Alexander, hello, everybody. Wow, I mean, I see people speeding even up and down Adams. And I'm on a corner with 4 stop signs. And people bibbity-bob through. You know, I don't know why people are in such a hurry, but it's sad. It's sad. But I just wanted to let all of you know how touched I was by the card I got from all of you. That meant a lot. Thank you. You only turn 80 once. No, maybe 160, but that's way down the road. So I really want to thank you for your thoughts and your kindness, and keep up the good work. I'm starting to hear some people who were a little against, what's happening in Monte and why is this cost going up and blah, blah. And I try to inform them, well, if you went to a meeting, you might know these things, but I try to let them know a little. And people are starting to, we got a pretty good council, and with Gigi running and everything, so keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margot. Any other citizen comments? Okay, we'll move on to scheduled appearances. In order to be on this portion of the agenda, you have to file the appropriate paperwork with the city clerk no later than noon on Monday prior to the meeting. Makita Tarlo, did I say that right?
McKellar.
McKellar?
So I guess I'm supposed to sign in here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You need my address? So I'm here, to ask if the town would be willing to be the fiscal agent, actually for two different grants, although only one is listed on the agenda, which is a Ready grant through DOLA. And I've had several Ready grants. I know the town has had several Ready grants. So I've experience with that. And Laura's also, they're providing the matching funds for the Ready grant, and they're also asking if you'd be willing to be the fiscal agent. And this is for something I'm calling a civics lab. Did DJ get? He was supposed to print copies of this for everybody.
I forgot.
Well, anyway, so just I don't know how long I'm supposed to talk or how much information you want, so just briefly, my background is I was a corporate consultant for about 25 years, worked with innovation teams. And about 8 years ago, began working with schools, work-based learning. And primarily in Denver and Eagle and Carbondale, and more recently here, where I've lived in the San Luis Valley for 28 years. And when I worked in Denver, I could place students in a museum or a marketing firm or an advertising agency, and those options are not too available in this valley. And so the solution I have found is what I call project-based internships. And where most of the internship opportunities are with towns. So I'll just give you a few examples. Been working with Center for a couple of years. We've had several students build a greenhouse on the side of one of the buildings there, 30 by 10 feet. They built it. Now they're starting a business with microgreens and selling flowers. Another group has done surveys for the town and developed newsletters and websites. Working with a group in La Jara, and the students are mocking up a skateboard park, and they're going to create a grant proposal to the Tony Hawk Foundation. Another group of students also in La Jara are going to start a skateboard company and have found somebody to print their skateboards, and they're going to start a business. So those are the kind of things that students are working on. I could go on and on. A group of students in San Luis are, they just, the town has taken ownership of the new Heritage Center, and the kids are organizing film nights and Saturday workshops for younger kids. So students can play a pretty significant role. And what I do is I'm sort of a bridge between the school and the community. So I start out by seeing what opportunities there are in the community. And I've already seen some that are available here. And then I connect with the school so that the teachers in the school, and I've worked quite a bit with the Monte Vista High School, so that if the teachers do some of the work inside the classroom, I find that there's a much higher level of commitment. And the reason why the paid internships are important is because there's just not a lot of interesting job opportunities for kids. And so I usually pay them around $700 for the year for this internship. But it's extremely motivating for the kids, and they can put it on their resume and they use it to apply for scholarships. And I'm connected with work-based learning. So I could go on and on. I don't know if it's a difficult decision for you to want to be the
So the
fiscal agent.
internships, is that during the school year?
It's during the school year, but they go into the summer as well. So we do summer programs as well. This particular grant, probably not so much. It'll be more focused during the year. We talked about murals for the town, maybe some of the students doing a digital workshop for some of the local businesses. I know that you're going to work with some CU students who are designing something, is it for the splash park or one or the other? And we've had students, we've worked with CU students in Center, and the students did all the groundwork in terms of interviewing people, doing surveys and focus groups, and that information was directly used to affect what those CU students did, and they were there at the event and answered questions. So
Help me understand what it means to be the fiscal agent.
oh, it just means that Ready grants, only towns can apply for a Ready grant. So it just means you're gonna write the checks. I do all the work. I'm not gonna create any more work for anybody in the town.
No, I just curious.
Yeah,
Make sure that
that's
it's
all it is.
understood with it.
It just means that the grant goes through the town. So, I could just say more. And I've been doing more and more research just on the importance of getting young people involved in their community. And there's so much research on the protective factors that it offers for kids. They're less likely to be involved in risky behavior, better socialization skills, mental health skills. But it's also, there's a lot of research showing, I mean, these are long-term benefits. I'm not saying this is going to happen in a year, but towns that have active civic engagement by young people tend to be more prosperous, more economically resilient. And we have a huge talent drain in this valley where, you know, we have to find a reason for some kids to stay here and wanna, so that's part of what this addresses. And I'm starting to see some students go, well, maybe something's happening in the valley, maybe I might want to stay. So,
So I assume you talked to Gigi,
yes.
and
Yes.
she's okay with all this?
Yes, indeed. You see that?
Yeah, I had
I think they're both okay. I think they're both interested. Am I right?
we spent about an hour chatting with her, kind of talking through, we also talked to some people in the school district, to making sure that it's something that could work. So it's something that could work very well with some other projects that we have already going, they can be supportive for things that we're doing. It can take some of the burden off some of us for asking questions, doing surveys, doing marketing, some other stuff. So there's a lot of really good opportunities there. And if we get good participation, maybe something we can continue even after past the grant, so.
So this is something that you guys have already looked into and addressing stuff and.
We chatted with her for a while about it, and we've actually, before she came in, we've been talking to the business department about possibly helping the chamber of commerce with some marketing stuff. So we'd already been looking at something like this. I mean, she came with this opportunity with a grant, so.
And my background is in business, so I know a lot about marketing. I worked with a lot of tech teams, so you know, I can help in that way. And I work also a lot with Adams State and Trinidad, a little less so with Trinidad. But we have a big event happening in May at Adams State involving with business leaders coming to it, and I'll have over 100 students pitching projects. There's going to be a Shark Tank and showing their, so.
What additional accounting requirements are required of us if we become the fiscal agent?
It's really simple. There's not a lot. You'll write probably 8 checks over the course of a year and
But we have to
deliver.
report that back, that we gotta make sure that the funds are being used correctly, correct? We have to prove that the ready grants being used.
Ready grants are probably the easiest grant to administer that I've experienced. I mean, when you do something.
that true?
Minimal, it's minimal work.
You should see CDE grants. There's federal numbers, all sorts of tracking you have to do.
Do I make a motion that we authorize the city manager to engage as a fiscal agent for this ready grant?
And
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to have the city manager and DJ work along with Mc. Yes,
Moving that to both the Ready Grant and the War Grant.
Yeah.
Then to be the fiscal agent for both the Ready Grant and the
Sure.
War Grant.
ready grant requires a match.
You know, along with the grant from Laws Foundation.
as amended. To have the ready grant and the war grant. Now the city manager and DJ work with. Kayla,
Yeah.
is there any more discussion on this?
What's the timeline for this?
I think you received the grant award in June, but we would start in August. It would basically be the school year into July. So there'll be some summer programming.
So you're talking about this coming, not this.
This coming school year. I'm already working with Monte right now with a co-action grant and another ready grant that I have, so, which is a 5-town ready grant.
Any more? Unita,
Counselor Howard,
Hi,
Counselor Lawrence,
Aye.
Counselor Watson,
Nice.
Mayor Becker.
aye,
Motion carries to allow for city manager to work with Michaela Tarlow on the Ready Grant and Laura Grant as a fiscal agent.
very good. Thank you. That's unlucky.
I'll be back with reports.
It's just to hear about that.
Yeah, thank you for planning.
Okay, special review for 527 Franklin. Place a manufactured home class A on the property located in RM zone district.
So in your package, you should have had the packet that the P and Z got, as well as the board findings. I'm trying to be a little more consistent about what I provide, so that's why I gave you guys the entire packet, because I think you guys deserve to see what you're approving or disapproving. Last time, I think I just gave you the recommendation. So from now on, I'll give you guys the entire packets that you guys can look at. So Ms. Garcia wants to put a manufactured home, a modular home down at 527 Franklin. It is a currently vacant lot. It's located next to a URA lot. The lot adjacent to the URA lot already has a manufactured home on it. It fits the character. It's another home in Monte that we can afford to put in. So I didn't see any reasons for planning and zoning. Planning and zoning didn't find any reasons. They wrote the recommendation. So as long as you guys are good with it or have any questions I can answer, just would entertain a motion to approve the special review use as provided by the planning and zoning commission.
So moved. Been moved and seconded to approve the special review for 527 Franklin. Place manufactured home class A on the property located in RM zone district. Is there any more discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yeah.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the special review use at 527 Franklin for a manufactured home class A on property located in the RM zone district.
All right. Ordinances, ordinance 925, amending chapter 12-3-260. Did you have something for that, Rob?
Nope, I thought I was ahead.
Oh. We'll have him talk. Who else will have? 12-3-260, the Monte Vista Municipal Code.
So this is, this came up for a specific property and I tried really hard to approach it. Not looking at the property that we're gonna be discussing or the property that was discussed. Really, I tried to look at it as for, does it make sense for Monte Vista or not when I was looking and doing the research for this amendment. It makes sense to me because it also fits a very small niche of buildings that would actually qualify inside the city of Monte Vista. Currently, if you have a house or a building or a business and it was approved through special review or authorized, and through changes in code, it becomes a non-conforming building, then it is no longer, you can't transfer that to a different use. So for instance, a dentist's office cannot become an office building, which is what we were looking at for this particular one. So the options for the landowner is to continue to try to find like use, which I know that this particular person's been looking for many years to try to find just another person to come in and take it. Or they could let it go to blight, become abandoned, and not be used. Or they can try to do, like for this particular building would be a substantial remodel to try to make it into a conforming use. And I don't think that that's the intent behind the code. So the way that we've rewritten this would allow for it to have a different use that is still non-conforming, however, closer to the conforming use with a lower impact. The original version of this had it as staff level approval through Gene and through the Planning and Zoning Commission. They changed it to a planning and zoning special review use, which means it would go through the public hearing process. It would get posted and notified. It would go through planning and zoning they would recommend, and then it would end up with you guys to make the final decision on whether or not it can be a continued non-conforming use with a different use at that time. So that's what the amendment is for, the resolution is for. Are there any questions on it?
Yeah, I just commented, so I was at the, being as a ex officio member, I was there, listened to all the discussion. I looked at the changes here in section 12-3-260. Had a couple different thoughts, but where I was a little stuck, but came around to understand the language in those is fewer adverse impacts. section 12-3 dash. There's another one that allows, as you pointed out, if it's a certain use, non-conforming use, it could go to be sold to somebody else with the same use, right? So there is a section in the code that allows that. This is if it's a different use, it has to be something less of an impact.
Yes.
Right, that's,
So, the use, and I agree with what the last planning and zoning commissions have done. They're very specific. For this property, it says dentist office, so therefore it could only be a dentist office. It couldn't even become a medical clinic, based off of the way that it's currently written. And that's kind of what we were looking at.
so I make a motion to approve.
I think I have to read it first,
Okay, sorry.
right?
No, this is on first reading.
Yeah, this is first reading, so. Okay, an ordinance of the city of Monte Vista amending Article 3 administration of Chapter 12 zoning of the Monte Vista Municipal Code. Whereas the Monte Vista Planning Commission has considered the issue of non-conforming uses of the city, and I wrote this terribly. Considered the issue of non-conforming uses of the city and recognizes that there exist buildings inside the city that are no longer conforming due to changes in the Monte Vista or in the municipal code. And whereas due to their design, it is not feasible for a conforming use to be conducted in the structure. Whereas the non-conforming use provisions in section 12-3-260 of the city zoning regulations do not allow for non-conforming uses to be changed without conforming to the current regulations. And whereas the restrictions make it difficult for owners in such non-conforming use to sell the property with such restrictions, now therefore let it be ordained by the City Council of the City of Monte Vista that section 12-3-260 of the Monte Vista Municipal Code be amended as follows. Section 12-3-260, change of non-conforming uses and structures. A non-conforming use may be replaced by another use that is not permitted in the zoning district where the property is located if the city council determines after the special review process that the proposed use creates fewer adverse impacts on surrounding properties than the current non-conforming use. In making this determination, the city shall consider impacts including but not limited to the levels of auto and truck traffic, hours of operation, noise, dust, vibration, and nighttime lighting and glare.
In the language used in the city, not planning and zoning commission. Did you change it?
We changed it to city council. So originally I had the language that I put before, planning and zoning commission that said, if planning and zoning determines. However, in the code, the planning and zoning commission is a recommending authority, not a decision authority.
Okay.
So I had to change it to city council because you guys would be the deciding authority. Now I need a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve. To approve ordinance 925 amending chapter 12-3-60 of the Monte Vista Municipal Code. As read and changed by the city clerk.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve. The ordinance City of Monte Vista amending Article 3 administration of Chapter 12 zoning of the Monte Vista Municipal Code to 12-3-260. Was there any more discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve ordinance 925. Amending Article 3, Chapter 12-3-260 on first reading.
The contracts and agreements, contract approval for Colorado Standby to design a backup generator for Sky High.
Good evening, council. Sorry about that. I jumped ahead of you. So we're bringing back to city council tonight, proposal that was first seen by you a few months ago. And you had asked us to get with the company and actually have them create a design that we could then take out to bid for a generator. This is that. So, The proposal includes a site visit to determine the electrical needs of the facility using the historical peak demand data and evaluating the site for the ideal placement of the generator. They will determine the proper sizing of the generator to provide full building functionality. They will then develop documents to use in bidding the project. These documents include specifications of the generator, location, size of pad, and necessary transfer switches and wiring needs to create a fully functioning system. We're asking for approval for the design services from Colorado Standby for a sum of $15,500. I'm asking you to allow me to go ahead and sign the contract. Any questions? And I did, like DJ said, provide you a little more data than we have in the past. Went ahead and included their estimate in your packet for you.
I had a couple of questions. It talks about, and I think I know the answer, but ask the question anyway. Talks about historical demand usage. We have just monthly data, don't we? Do we have less than monthly?
We have monthly data, and then they asked me to get with Excel. And I'll get with Ashley to try to get what they see as our peak demand and get that data from Excel.
Are the meters that we have, are they 50-minute increment meters, you know, are they, no, they have that kind of resolution on the usage? I would think it might, given the commercial and that they're new.
It's sooner so, but I don't.
Cause I see that in there, they excludes, you know, exclusion on demand metering for generator sizing and for.
Yeah, and talking with the gentleman, he said that was them coming down and hook up a meter on their side that they would then monitor for a period of time. And go through shows.
You need some, I'll go do it for you.
What's that?
If you need some, I'll go do it for you.
Okay. Okay. I would like some assistance on
Brad.
this project, because this is
Yeah,
a little beyond my expertise.
I've done a bunch of them. I did the city of centers, I did the school, I did the pumps. I've done all the emergency ones up in Gunnison. All of them, the police department, the city building, yeah, I've done probably 12 of them, big ones. Not counting all the Y2K tiny little ones when everybody's freaking out about that, but yeah, I've done a bunch.
Want to talk about putting a meter on the service entrance. And recording.
Your
50
power quality meter just.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go to government.
So
They don't need it, I'm good. Okay, you know, they say, hey, they need it.
they don't believe they need it.
And this contract is strictly for the engineering part of it.
Just the design of the actual generator,
Okay, the design build, and that was it, or just the generator?
just the generator.
Oh, okay.
Cause how much are we talking about more or less on the generator? And how big, do you have any sense of?
I know.
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
It's
If
gonna be a
if
big
you're
one.
gonna run that entire building and have the entire building capability, it's gonna be big.
And it may be 2 generators, one for each side.
And you might have to
Problem
split it, if
is-
the service allows to split up.
Well, my understanding from the way the building was originally done, the west side, the event center doesn't have the setup to be for backup. The other side, the conference side was,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I mean, some of the power, of this can be the size of a Connex, a large compressor.
So, and there's been a lot of discussion as to proper placement and stuff, so.
That, and we also have to start looking into fuel. Did we discuss what fuel is gonna run on? So
We
fuel.
talked about propane, we also talked about natural gas, diesel was pretty well eliminated.
Yeah.
So a lot of it will determine on where it's going to be located. The problem, and we're working with Excel already, I have a meeting scheduled for the 13th. That we'll be talking with Excel about some of these things and some other projects. But when Sky High was built, there wasn't enough volume. So they had to do some additional things. Dale, you remember that we did some work with Excel to try to get the fuel line to actually run the actual HVAC there. So to be able to use natural gas may be a problem.
Yeah.
So they'll evaluate that with Excel.
Do we have any criteria on how long we have to be able to maintain emergency power to this building? I mean, by government, have they dictated like how? long?
There's not a dictation as to how long you have to do it. We're looking at a fuel supply to last at least 3 days at a time.
Okay, that's what I was, it's like, was, if there's any criteria on how long this thing has to be able to run continuously without anything.
Our plan is 3 days continuously. We'll hopefully get us through an emergency.
I'll make a motion to allow the public works director to sign a contract with Colorado Standby to design the backup generators at Sky High.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. Rob Banks to sign the contract for Colorado Standby to design the backup generator for Sky High Park. Is there any discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to allow for Rob Vance to sign the contract for approval for Colorado Standby to design the backup generator for Sky High.
Okay, approval for SGM Engineering to provide construction design services for the alley project.
Also tonight, we have in front of us the a proposal for engineering services for the design and construction documents for the downtown alleyway infrastructure improvement project. This is the grant the city received last year to approve and basically reconstruct the alleys in our core downtown, which is the alley between Washington and Adams, and then Adams and Jefferson, to provide one, some drainage, and two, an actual asphalt surface that will enable the big trucks to kind of get down there and much serve the community a little better. We had 2 bidders on the initial project. We did ask, both bids came in over budget. So we asked both companies to come back and do some value engineering. One company declined to do any further value engineering, and they were a little over $300,000 for the engineering. SGM agreed to do some value engineering, and in your packet, you have their proposal with what they're looking at doing, and they brought their costs down from roughly almost a little over $100,000. So it's slightly over, it's 200, almost 300,000 on the initial bid. They brought it down to a sum of $184,000. And we're asking the city council to award the contract to SGM Engineering for $184,000. And to allow me to issue the notice of award and Gigi to actually sign the contract. Some of the answer. Thank you.
Second.
So it's moved and seconded to approve with SGM Engineering to provide construction design services for the alley project. Robert Vance issued the notice of the award and Gigi Dennis to sign the contract. Is there any more discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve SGM Engineering to provide construction design service for the alley project and to allow Robert Vance to issue the notice of award and to allow Gigi Dennis to sign the contract.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. We'll move on to staff proposals, reports, and actions. City clerk.
My timer up.
And you're done.
Everybody out.
Go ahead and silence that.
So I just have a couple things for you this evening. First of all, wanted to remind you all that the 2024 CML Annual Conference is coming up June 18th through the 24th. Counselor Watson, this is something that the city will pay for. So
Me and my wife were talking about it to try and decide if we can
Okay,
Put that in the schedule.
so if you're interested, please let me know. The hotel where the conference is at is all sold out. So the sooner you let me know, the sooner I can get a hotel as close as possible. If you all are gonna go, I know you're not going. He never goes.
Anyway,
You may go. But if you're gonna go, let me know as soon as possible so I can get you as close as I can to the event center. Connor Animal Shelter, they've completed their kennel project and they've invited everybody, March 9th, this Saturday, to their open house from 2 to 4. So just I don't know if you all want a copy of the flyer, but from 2 to 4, they've invited everybody out to Connor Animal Shelter. And then on April 4th, you're invited to the Monte Vista Head Start Second Annual Art Show. City Council has been invited to the Second Annual Art Show.
what's the date on that again? I'm sorry.
April 4th from 5 to 7 at the Head Start. And then I wanted to thank Mayor Becker for attending with me yesterday. Was it yesterday? Tuesday. The Kindness Club from Bill Metz. I don't know, I don't think you were here yet, but they had attended a city council meeting. The Kindness Club is a group that is at Bill Metz. They spread kindness throughout the community. It's a group of kids that try to spread kindness throughout the school and help kids who are down and depressed or have need help or anything like that throughout the school. So they put a program together at the school and they've been collecting cans through the month of February or food items. And they collected enough food to feed 5 families. Isn't that right? That what Jen said? And they delivered it to the food bank on Tuesday afternoon. So that was a fun thing to attend with the kids, and each one of the food items had a little heart attached to it that had an inspiring words of kindness. So it was a really fun thing to do. The other thing that we have out there right now is Public Works has their new street sweeper. So we have a Name the Beast competition. So we put it out on Facebook and the website. We have a total of 10 names so far that's been submitted. I submitted it to the elementary school today. So by the end of March, hopefully we'll have a whole bunch of fun names that we're gonna bring to city council, and we're gonna ask Rob and we're gonna ask one of the guys from Public Works to help determine the name of the new street sweeper. But we also submitted coloring pages to the elementary school today of the street sweeper. So we took a picture of the street sweeper and I turned it into a coloring page. And I sent it over to the elementary school. So they're gonna color it and name it. And then we're gonna take all those coloring pictures and we're gonna take them over to the Public Works shop and we're gonna pin them all over the Public Works shop. Surprise.
Are we gonna wrap it?
So,
Sure, yeah. We'll put the name, whatever we decide, we'll put the results of that, we'll post that on the sweeper. So, Public Works will probably get whoever the winner is, get them some sort of a gift card.
so we actually, we did post, they will actually get a $50 gift certificate for their favorite restaurant here in town.
Thanks.
So, that's all I have for you guys tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, don't forget Crane Festival this weekend. So it
Oh, my wife
starts,
won't let me forget. She's probably down there now still setting stuff up.
so it starts tomorrow, runs until Saturday at noon. Make sure citizens, please watch out for everybody on the county roads because they're out there
Is it Saturday or Sunday?
They run until Sunday at noon,
Sunday, and we think you said Saturday. I mean,
Sunday at noon.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Public Works.
Oh, yeah. So I did not have a written report for you tonight, so I just thought I'd touch on a couple of things. Since the sweeper was mentioned, if you've ever watched, this is something our mechanic, Dave told us. If you've ever watched Starship Troopers, the main bug in there looks like our sweeper.
It's like Sammy, the Zamboni wannabe, you know, it's.
But anyways, we did install the stop signs on Newcomb and Lyle this week. That has been a topic on Facebook. So both pro and con, we did trim the trees, if you will, the three little limbs that people were complaining about. Those are all gone now. So, and then from Kathy's comments today, I'll take that to the chief and we'll start looking at that and see if it meets the warrants. For the citizens' perspective, I'll just touch base real quick on that. We can't just arbitrarily throw a sign up on any street. We have to go through a series of, it's called a traffic study. And we have to meet certain warrants in order for us to put a regulatory sign like a stop sign. So we can conduct that. That's what happened on Newcomb. It did meet those warrants, so we were able to do that. Other than that, I did hire a new street supervisor. I promoted Andrew Valenzuela from the utilities up to our street supervisor. He's a 32-year employee with the city. He actually, believe it or not, when I first hired on, he helped me with the highway project. I was trying to do that project had to be done at night. I was trying to do a job here and then run that project in the middle of the night and figured out I couldn't sleep. And so he kind of helped me out with that. We split nights. So I'm helpful and I will bring him to city council, but I wanted him to kind of get his feet wet first. He's been doing this for about a week, almost 2 weeks now. So, other than that, any questions? I'll keep it short. Okay.
How's the sweeper working?
So far, so good. We are running it right now. We've ran it not last week, the week before. We skipped last week to work on our little map room project here. And then we're running it this week and next week, just to kind of go through town. As we get closer to spring, I'm gonna run both sweepers and do another pass all the way through town to just try to get everything caught up. But I wanted to sweeper out. I wanted to see how it does, pushing a lot of material. It's been quite a while since areas of town have been swept. So there's a lot of debris. So as citizens that kind of bear with us, we're going through picking up the big stuff, but it's kind of more than what a sweeper will take. So that you might see some trails of dirt and stuff. So, but we're gonna come back and get that. We should get everything done today as far as the entire town. Next week, we'll start back over here on the west side and start looking east again and try to pick up some of that other stuff. We're just trying to test it, see what it does and what it doesn't do. The biggest thing that we found so far is limbs. A lot of limbs will start plugging it up, so the guys will have to go out there and pick up limbs as they go through. Limbs can plug it up. It's fairly simple to unplug. Yeah, it's doing well. We're liking it. So, and then I just saw on the news, there's a House bill going through that's going to limit 2-engine sweepers. So it's right now there's a exemption on street sweepers, on the road street sweepers. So I'm hoping that stays in there as it goes through, but if it does not go through as it's currently written, then we may have, it'll be a good purchase for us because machines that have 2 engines, one for the chassis, one for the sweeper, will not be allowed in Colorado.
Well, Full engine sweeper would be grandfather, or you have to do.
Well, right now, on that bill, there's an exemption for on the road street sweepers. So as long as that stays in through the bill, then we should be fine. They were talking about not allowing two engines.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, it's for global warming.
Okay.
So,
I'll just keep my mouth shut.
any other questions? Anything?
So you think that
Yes.
we could probably use that street sweeper until it's defective, if there's a, you know, if they put that clause in there.
Well,
One engine.
It's only a one engine, so even if that
Oh.
clause does go.
Oh, so
our
we're
street
good no matter
sweepers
what.
good no matter what.
Okay, good.
We're good no matter what.
Did you want to say something about the water shut off? Is that like?
Oh, I guess I should, yes. Next week, we're gonna be replacing and moving the fire hydrant between Big R and Top Value. And in order to do that, we have to shut a fairly large section of town down. We're gonna shut everything from Morse West and on Third Street down around Dunham. We don't have a lot of valves in that area, so we had to shut down quite a large section of town. To do that, we did hand out door hangers, so if you received a door hanger, you will be impacted and you will not have water. If you did not receive one, you should not be affected. We did work with the businesses in the area that will be affected, and we have met or are going to meet any demands that they need to keep themselves moving forward. So that includes the legacy, so.
It's also on Facebook and on the radio.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. IT, Brandon?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Been trying to keep it short and sweet as usual. It's been quite a busy month for us in IT as or at least I was out at Ag Conference for the week supporting. But to start it off, I did pretty much every 3 months we do a Google account cleanup. That's just clearing out old accounts, make sure we have licensing for oncoming employees. So that's all been done, everything's cleaned up, and we are prepared for anyone that comes on board going forward. And then, as I said when I started off, I was at the Ag Conference for support. The reason why I was out there for the most part is we were live streaming that one guest speaker, the keynote speaker. And from what I'm aware, that live stream went off without a hitch. I didn't see any issues on our side besides audio issues in some rooms, just a little bit too quiet. But that was just a limitation of the streaming system that we're using, since everything was just kind of hodgepodge together as the system was not designed to do that. But other than that, I heard it went extremely well. People seemed to enjoy it, and I'm glad that we had the room as that was quite filling for the event center. And then over at Sky High as well, we had network changes. Stephanie requested that we changed all the network passwords on all the Wi-Fi that's out there, just in preparation for Ag Conference, as she was worried that people were coming in, they would have the passwords from previous events and then bog down the network even further. And then with the Wi-Fi changes, we had to go through and update all the keycard locks out there at Sky High, as they all are on the network as well. All those had to be updated with the new network passwords. And then here at City Hall, we had the public Wi-Fi remounted. So over on the clerk side, it's in one of the offices now. We have public Wi-Fi again. And then out on the front of the building above the floating entrance, there's public Wi-Fi broadcasting for the public to use. We had a monitor replacement over on the PD side, just quick monitor replacement. Monitor just went down, it was old, ready to go. And then a non-booting PC over at the shops, that just was a bad CMOS battery, replaced it, everything came back up just fine, and the PC has been functioning within spec. We replaced the mail PL machine, which is what they are using for, I believe, it's what pretty much estimates the cost of outgoing parcels, if I'm not mistaken. Was not involved in that too much, just more or less set up and then getting the old one out and ready to be shipped back. And then we ran 2 new network lines for the plotter and scanner room, as Public Works has been working on that and getting that ready to go for DJ. Those lines ran, just waiting for DJ to finish up the painting in there, so that way we can put my wall plate on, and then from there, everything will be patched in, and they should be good to go. Other than that, everything else has just been the usual security fixes and patches, as networks are, of course, everything changing, the world's constantly changing, and security is becoming a bigger and bigger thing every single day. But other than that, I've got nothing else, and is there any questions?
Me.
Appreciate you, what you do in the background, man.
Alrighty, thank you guys.
Thank you, Brandon.
You guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy
You as
Crane
well.
Fest.
Then we'll go to council committee, city commission, and council reports. Councilor Rand, we'll start with you tonight.
I'm good.
Nala? Councilor Howard?
Enjoyed the meeting back on planning and zoning. It was useful, I thought. They did a nice job talking and discussing the changes that were presented.
Good, I'm glad you did that. Appreciate that.
No problem. That's it for me.
Councilor Watson? Nothing, man, you guys. Let me get my list out, no. Crane Festival, enjoy that this weekend, that'll be a big turnout from what I understand. The kindness club that Unita was talking about, it was really cool to see, what was there, about 12, 15 kids
Yeah.
that, are doing what they do. It was awesome. Cause they get the whole school involved and then they really push it. So it was good to see the young people being involved in the community. And with that being said, we'll go with Monty Strong and we will recess this meeting until March 21st, 6 p.m. here at City Hall.